The miracle of Francis is how the Italian press described yesterday's meeting between the U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy at St. Peter's Basilica. It was the first conversation between the presidents since the famous argument at the White House. Renewing this relationship is crucial to a just end to the war. This is really important for world peace. You can talk in these terms. It's not just about regional peace, it's about world peace. The Ukrainian president did not hide his satisfaction with the meeting.
We had a productive meeting. I don't want to go to a lot of details, if it's possible, because the questions, very sensitive questions, of course, totally it's about how to bring peace.
Interestingly, shortly after his conversation with Zelensky, Donald Trump published a post on social media hitting Vladimir Putin. With all of that being said, there was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas, cities, and towns over the last few days. It makes me think that maybe he doesn't want to stop the war. He's just tapping me along and has to be dealt with differently through banking or secondary sanctions. Too many people are dying. Not surprisingly, yesterday's leaders' meeting revived hopes for a breakthrough in peace negotiations. But what is most important to me? Maybe it is in the religious aspect that this conversation took place here. Perhaps this will be the place that will specifically inspire the two leaders to find a solution that will finally prove effective and that will bring this war to an end. Such a scenario would be Francis's wish fulfillment. The Holy Father, in his last public speech, sought peace. In the face of the numerous wars that have raged in recent years, bringing with them inhumane atrocities, countless victims, and destruction, Pope Francis has constantly spoken out, pleading for peace. He called for reason and fair negotiations to seek possible solutions, because he used to say, war only means the death of people, the destruction of homes, hospitals, and schools. War always leaves the world worse than it was before. It is always a painful and tragic defeat for everyone. However, Francis's teaching was also full of more down-to-earth guidance. And why at a certain point in the Mass, the priest who presides over the liturgy says, "Put your hearts up." He does not say, "Put your cell phones up to take a picture." No, this is a wrong thing. For me, it is a great annoyance when I celebrate Mass here in the square or in the Basilica and I see a lot of raised phones. This bit of teaching was apparently not known to some members of the official Polish delegation who showed up at the Vatican for the Pope's funeral. At such an important moment, the second person in the state, Szymon Hołownia, could not resist the temptation to take photos, which even his coalition partners criticized. Nearly 200,000 people and more than 150 delegations are saying goodbye to Pope Francis. But that's no reason to act like a high school student on a trip. A little seriousness, Mr. Marshal of the same Szymon Hołownia. Well, hello, crew. Today we're on a cool school trip. The teacher is not watching. The sun is shining. The Pope is dead. I'm the brother of a priest. Peace out, and please subscribe. Poland's Marshal of the same does not see the problem and explains that he was not taking a selfie, but was photographing the crowd gathered in St. Peter's Square. One must have no shame to spin a political war at such a moment. For the Pope's funeral, I invited people in crisis of homelessness to the plane. These are representatives of a group that Francis helped in a special way. We pray, experience, document, and remember forever. For those interested, I attach evidence of what is most important today, a Vatican full of mourners, including lots of our compatriots. I think Mr. Marshal of the same counted on the fact that this could somehow help him in his campaign there, but it's such a culture taken from TVN. Dismissive. The funeral, however, is a very serious moment. It's not a school trip. However, playing a photojournalist is not the only slip-up of the Marshal of the same. Szymon Hołownia, along with Polish Deputy Prime Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz, tried to occupy chairs in the first rows. Colleagues from the third way must have been filled with embarrassment when, after a while, they were shown a third way to more distant seats.